for Marcelo Furtado of Greenpeace Brasil, the campaigns director. There's two on forests, actually. Let me put them together if it doesn't make it too lumpy. One is any progress on forests, which is pretty wide brief. And the second one is what measures should be taken against companies destroying the Amazon rainforest. For example, oil companies that are polluting and making people ill. Now, I don't know if you can bring these together because they're very different aspects of the question, but...
Okay, so I'll go first, progress on forests. What are we talking about forests here? Here we're talking about how to bring forests into this convention. This convention is Convention on Climate Change. It basically talks about reduction of emissions of carbon. So we are actually talking here mainly about stopping deforestation. That's the core of the discussion here. But as you know, forest is not only carbon. Forest is biodiversity, forest water, and forest is people. We have people that live in the forest. So one of the limitations we have here is that this treaty here can only address the carbon issue and the emissions issue, which is very important. 20% of the global emissions come from deforestation. But we need to do more than that. We need to take care about the forest as a whole, because on one hand, forests may be the villain, because they are the ones pumping all these CO2 into the atmosphere. In Brazil, 75% of our emissions come from forests. And they can be also the solution. In my country, we rely on water because of the Amazon. So it's very important that we understand how important forests are overall. So here the negotiation is indicative to agree on the development of a mechanism that you could fund the reduction of deforestation. You will find a way that you can put money on the table, and with that guarantee that countries will stop deforestation. That's what's being discussed here. And I think it's moving forward, but it's moving forward very slowly with a lot of roadblocks. I just came out of that session to talk to you, and I'm going back. And I hope that by tomorrow I'll have good news. But right now, I can say that there's a lot of different views. And because there's no other instrument, no other place for countries to look for international money to save the forests, because other conventions like the Convention on Biodiversity, for example, is not delivering, then there's a lot of expectation here and maybe too much expectation here. And that's complicated. And then what people can do to stop deforestation? Well, the first thing that people can do is, as a consumer, make sure that you're not buying forest-destructive products. And of course, for that, you need to know if they're forest-destructive products in the first place. So there's a big deal of public education and consumer education to be done. The second thing you can do is that you can participate on, for example, cyber activism via the internet, sending messages to companies that are messing up in the forest, messages to governments that are failing to do governance in the forest, and to the people that are destroying the forest. In our experience in Brazil, one thing that's very clear for us: when the state makes itself present in the region, deforestation rates go down. It's actually all about governance. And that's why we don't think you need a super bullet approach to it. It's basically very simple. Make government more available, make government there, and people will curb deforestation. In addition to that, there's also manufacturers of destruction. For example, recently we denounced the growth of soya into the Amazon. And then we found a link of companies selling soya to McDonald's. And then McDonald's said, we don't want to be part of the problem, so what do we need to do to stop this? And we said, well, go talk to the Cargill, the company you buy soya from, and tell them that you don't want them to buy soya that is destroying the Amazon. And McDonald's went to Cargill and told Cargill, if you don't ensure that I'm not buying soya that is destroying the Amazon, I'll drop my contract and I'll buy soya from someone else. And then immediately Cargill got the message, and now we actually have a moratorium in Brazil with all the leading traders of soya, where they committed not to buy soya from deforestation. Now, I cannot say how much of the decrease on the deforestation rate of Brazil that action had, but I can tell you that it was helpful, that it collaborated to the success of having reduction of deforestation rates. So, consumer actions, corporate exposés, this is all very important.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a fantastic answer.